Welcome to the very first episode of my podcast, Best of Three Worlds. My name is Kaisa, and on this podcast, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, basically. You might already know me from my YouTube channel, Manifest with Kaisa, where we talk about manifesting, like how to manifest your dream life, how to manifest anything you want, like your specific person, money, lottery, and so on. But on this podcast, we're going to talk about various different topics, such as spirituality, manifesting, self-development, productivity, addictions, mental health, music, because music is such a huge part of my life. It is so important to me. I'm not quite sure what we're going to talk about music, but I think we will figure that out later. I just wanted to put it there. So, what about the name of this podcast, Best of Three Worlds? What does it mean? Okay, let me explain. I've been thinking about having a podcast for a while now. And especially recently, I've been talking to two very good friends of mine, and they have been talking about podcasts. And I've become so inspired by that. And then today I decided hey, it's time to make it happen. And it was actually a couple of days ago when I had this idea that, hey, my podcast should be called Best of Both Worlds, because I don't want to only talk about manifesting, because I'm already doing that on my YouTube channel. I don't want to create something, like the same thing that I'm already doing. So I was thinking okay, we're going to talk about maybe two different things, such as manifesting or spirituality, and I don't know, mental health, productivity, addictions, whatever it is. We're not just going to talk about all those amazing things, high vibrational things, but we're also going to talk about, daily life, challenges, difficulties, that kind of stuff. But then I Googled, and the name Best of Both Worlds podcast, it was already taken. And to be honest, I felt a little bit uninspired by that, but I didn't let it stop me. A few days later, I had a new thought, I had a new idea. And that was Best of Three Worlds. Not just two, but three worlds. And what does it mean? It can mean a lot of different things. We can talk about spirituality. We can talk about productivity, studying, working, addictions, mental health, depression, anxiety, basically a lot of different things. Maybe in one episode, we're going to talk about manifesting and mental health and some third thing, but I don't know. I just think that the idea behind this podcast is that it's not just about manifesting and all these esoteric ideas and, enlightenment and you should do this, you should meditate like this and think a better thought, only think positive thoughts, that kind of stuff. I want this to be very real. Very vulnerable, realistic. I want to talk about daily life things, challenges and struggles. And you could even look at the name in a way Best of Three Worlds. The worlds could be 3D, 4D, and 5D for all of you very spiritual people to who the idea of the 3D, 4D, and 5D is already familiar, because we are not going to talk about only those 5D things. We're also going to talk about those so-called negative things or difficult things, challenging things. Maybe the ego, struggles, all that, 3D kind of stuff that I quite often tell you to ignore when we're talking about manifesting. But the truth is that we are living in a 3D world. And there are always going to be a lot of different things that we need to deal with. And that's why I want to include them in this podcast. Many times on my YouTube channel, I receive comments such as, "You're so optimistic," or "You are so positive and so inspiring." And I am grateful for those comments, but I'm not always that optimistic, or I'm not always thinking positive, because at the end of the day, we all are human beings. And we go through stuff. We are not always positive, or we are not always negative. We go through phases, ups and downs. That's what basically life just is that way. And there is no need to fight against that. Just need to accept it. And I hope that this podcast is going to be something that can inspire you. Like, even if we talk about those things that are not that high vibrational, let's say if we talk about depression or addictions or some type of traumas, we can do that in an inspiring way, in an uplifting manner. We don't need to be life is so bad and complaining about things and it's just the way it is and I feel so bad about it. There is another way of doing things as well, and that's this kind of attitude or mindset. It's going to be okay. Everything is going to work out. No matter what I'm going through right now, it is going to be better. And I can rise above it. I can rise above whatever it is that I'm going through. And I hope that this podcast is going to inspire you. And I hope it is going to help you when you are dealing with those difficult things in your life. Those things in life that maybe manifesting channels don't typically talk about when it comes to manifesting, because we all know that when we want to manifest something, whether it be money or a relationship or something, you need to raise your vibrational frequency, you need to feel good, positive, you need to feel grateful. And to be honest, I'm not feeling grateful every single day. Sometimes I just have days when I feel like, it's not gonna work out. I feel horrible. But it would be so useless to try to fight that, because I've been there. I've done that. I have tried to fight that feeling. If I get into a rut, which happens quite often to me. And that is something that I'm working on to overcome. But I'm guessing that I'm not the only one. And that's also one of those reasons why I am talking to you today. Maybe you're going through something. I don't know. But basically, it doesn't matter if you're going through something, if you're feeling negative, it's fine. You don't need to feel negative about feeling negative. But when it comes to conscious manifesting, let's say you want to manifest your ex back. To be honest, if you feel lonely, if you feel depressed about the fact that your specific person walked away from you, if you feel sorry for yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, you just watch Netflix in your bed, like curtains closed. By the way, I've been there too. And I know it's not good for me, but I've been there. And that's really the reason why I want to talk about these things. Like, I'm sure you know that if you feel negative, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to manifest your dream life. But that's okay. You don't need to feel ashamed of the fact that you're feeling negative. You can overcome that feeling. That feeling is not who you are. You can rise above it. You don't need to get stuck into it. Like, oh, now that I feel negative or I feel this way, I cannot manifest my desire. That's just a limiting belief. As human beings, we go through stuff in life. And it's important to look at those things from at least a neutral perspective. Like, maybe they can slow down your manifestation a little bit, but they're not going to ruin anything unless you let them. So, take a step back, calm down, take a deep breath in, tell yourself that it is okay. Whatever the challenge you're going through in your life right now, it's going to be okay. Things are going to work out for you. In fact, everything is always working in your favor. You're the creator of your reality. So, really quickly, I just want to go back to the topic that I talked about before. Like I mentioned that on my YouTube channel, I get comments like, oh, you're so optimistic or you're so positive. The thing is that, like I said before, I'm not feeling like that 24/7. And if I was, then I think it would be a little bit weird. Or I don't know if it's just me, but anyway, when I make a YouTube video, it's like maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes even 6 minutes or less. That's how many minutes you see of my life. And, I typically, when I get into a rut, when I feel not inspired, when I feel unmotivated, when I feel low, I don't feel like making videos at all. Because it's so difficult to make like a video about a positive topic when you're feeling low. But somehow I have managed to stay quite consistent on YouTube. Not like perfectly consistent, but this year I think I feel like I've really impressed myself. And I think that's really important. Like when you're looking for that validation outside of you or when you're comparing yourself to other people, that's not going to do anything for you. Or maybe it's maybe it can do something for you, but the effect is only going to be temporary. And it might even be negative. Like if you feel like, oh, these other people are better than me, therefore I'm not good enough. Or if perhaps you were going through something and you feel like you didn't do that great in something, maybe you failed a course, if you're a student or something, maybe you didn't get your dream job or something. I don't know. But the point is that do not compare yourself to other people, or do not get stuck in that feeling like, oh, I failed, I'm a failure, because that's not going to do anything for you. But the point is that if you compare yourself to other people, you're always going to lose somehow. Like there is always going to be somebody who is better than you at doing something. And, even if you failed at something, like let's say it's that job interview or a course, I don't know, whatever it is, but it doesn't mean that you as a person are a failure. You can get up again, try again, rise above it. You can do it. And, sometimes when it feels difficult for me to make YouTube videos, if I'm not feeling that great or positive or optimistic, there are times that I still make those videos. And I don't know if people can see that. Like, sometimes I feel like I struggle a lot. Like, I struggle to say things. I mess up my words and things like that. I feel like there is no point in what I'm saying or something like that. I don't know if people notice, but sometimes I just I really need to make a video anyway because I've chosen this life for myself. I've said to people that, I make weekly YouTube videos. I put them out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and I really want to, do it. I don't want to just disappear all of a sudden. Even if one day I'm not able to make a video, I'll let people know about that. Like, I'm going through something or I'm busy. I will be back next week or whatever. But there are also times when I don't feel like making a video, but then I do it anyway. And guess what happens? Wonderful things. It makes me feel better. A part of why I keep making these YouTube videos and now this podcast is that whenever I talk about these nice things like manifesting and all these other inspiring topics, it makes me feel better about myself. When I inspire other people, I feel inspired myself. And that is very powerful. And I found that it really helps me manifest more things in my life. Because when I keep making these videos, or now this podcast, it makes me feel better. So it means that it raises my vibration, and therefore it is easier for me to manifest things. So let's go back to what we talked about earlier, like feeling negative or not feeling positive, like feeling like, I really know that I want to manifest this thing in my life, but I feel low. I don't feel grateful. How can I still manifest my desire? Let me tell you, even if you think that I am a very optimistic or very positive person all the time based on my YouTube videos, and I told you that I have those low moments as well. Despite of those, I'm still able to manifest great things in life. Do not let those negative thoughts or feelings stop you from going forward. You can still manifest whatever you want. Many times when I'm manifesting something, like when I really, really, really want something, and I guess all of you who are into conscious manifesting, you can somehow relate to this feeling like, oh, I really want this thing. Like, I'm gonna do anything I can to get it. Because I've been there. And when I am in that kind of state of being, I'm practicing so hard, multiple times a day, spending hours scripting, listening to affirmations, like repeating them like a crazy person. And then I am looking for signs in my 3D reality, like did I get a text message from my specific person? Did I win money in the lottery? And guess what? Whenever I'm checking things like that, it never happens. And why is that? It is because there is so much resistance. Like when I really, really, really want something, I'm not gonna get it because within I lack it. I don't have it. And this physical world is only a reflection of our inner state of being. So therefore, I cannot have it. But there's a way to get it anyway. So many times when I really, really, really want something and I manifest it, I keep practicing like so hard and I don't get it. I hit a point where I feel like super negative, like, oh, it's not gonna work, like it's not working, like it doesn't work for me. I cannot manifest this thing, like something is wrong with me, like I just cannot do it. Maybe I even cry because I feel so bad about it. But guess what? In that moment, I actually let go. I let go. I let go of the thing. Even if I feel like, I'm a failure and I am not able to manifest this thing. But I have been focusing on that desire for so long that when I finally let it go, when I kind of give up, like I actually give up, like I cannot do this, I cannot manifest this thing. I give up, I cry, I let all of those, like I express all of those thoughts and emotions. And the next day, or maybe even the very next hour, because that has happened to me too, my desire arrives. It manifests. It manifests right in front of my eyes because I let go. But the reason why I am telling this to you right now is because I truly want you to know that negative thoughts or mental health problems, depression, anxiety, whatever it is, it doesn't have to hinder your manifestations. It doesn't need to stop you from living your dream life, from having your specific person, or having financial freedom, whatever it is that you're currently manifesting. There is nothing that can stop you from having your desire. You are, or your conscious mind, is the only limitation to what you can have in life. If you have negative thoughts, feelings, experiences, challenges in life, like, you know what? Fuck those. Like, they don't need to. Oh my god, I can't believe I just cursed in this podcast, but yeah, I just did that. But anyway, those things don't need to stop you from manifesting what you want. You can still manifest it. Because as human beings, like I've said it so many times in this episode, that as human beings, we go through stuff. We get into ruts. We have challenges. We have difficulties in life. But, we don't need to be positive or optimistic or happy or grateful all the time. If you want to manifest something, it is enough to know what it is that you want and focus on it. And kind of like work on yourself. Go towards that dream or goal. But even if you have negative thoughts about it, it's okay. You don't need to beat yourself up for those. you can overcome them. There are like so many different techniques and tools you can use. For example, if you have negative thoughts very frequently, then it could be useful for you to take a look at what is the limiting belief behind all those thoughts. What is the belief generating all those thoughts? And when you get to the root of the problem, or it's not even a problem anyway, it's just like something that like doesn't help you in manifesting your dream life. But anyway, when you become aware of it, you can let it go and you can replace it with something. So basically, when I started recording this episode, I was not knowing exactly what I was going to say, but it turned out that we talked about a lot of different things, like positive thoughts, negative thoughts, the name of this podcast, the fact that I am not always feeling optimistic or productive or, like so high vibrational or something. But I would like to thank you so much for listening to this episode. And if comments are available to you, wherever you are listening to this podcast on, if comments are available there, please let me know what you think about this podcast. If you want me to talk about certain topics, you can like comment them to let me know. And I don't really know what more to say, but I really enjoyed making this first episode of Best of Three Worlds. And like I said at the beginning, I hope that there are going to be guests in this podcast as well. Well, I'm not just hoping, for sure there will be. Can't wait to record the next one and can't wait for you to listen to this. Thank you so much for being here and bye for now.